Hi Twin Flames, Lisha and Andy here with another video, and this time this video is going to be a little different. I'd like to tell you about my recent discovery on my twin flame journey, but first I want to give a little introduction to this channel just so those of you who are new can learn what this channel is all about. It's called Twin Flame Musical Therapy, and I started this channel so that I could help other twin flames who are passionate about music to come to an awareness of their twin flame journey through music, through the music that I write, and also through music that they might love to listen to. And so this channel is about music mostly, and also a little bit about my journey. I'm trying to help other twin flames who are on their journey by explaining the lyrics to my songs and showing how they can be used to heal your twin flame journey. As you are going through your journey, you can use this to heal yourself and to heal your twin flame as well. Because music is a very powerful tool in the twin flame journey. A lot of times your twin flame will send you messages through music, and this is how I am hoping to help you discover how your twin flame feels about you. So hopefully you've met your twin flame, or you know who your twin flame is, and this is why you're on this channel. But today I'm going to talk about something different. Like I said, I had a recent discovery this last week in my own twin flame journey, and this is kind of a shock, but I have discovered that I have been in a relationship with a false twin flame, and I still know who my real true twin flame is, because they are the ones that awakened me to this journey. Because if I hadn't been in contact, or at least come to an awareness or soul recognition of who my twin flame is, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, and I wouldn't be meditating, I wouldn't be on my spiritual path. So there's a lot of things that I have to be thankful for in terms of coming to know who my true twin flame is. And also I'm learning that there are things that I should be thankful for, even having this false twin flame experience. Now, just to tell you a little bit about this false twin flame experience, I was basically approached online on Instagram by someone who is claiming to be who I know is my true twin flame. My true twin flame, as I told you guys before, is a musician, as a singer, and he is a celebrity musician. And I want to just say that there are celebrity twin flames out there. Okay, I just want to put that out there, because there are twin flames who are celebrities who are looking for their soulmate, their twin flame, and that twin flame might not be a celebrity, and that's the case as with my situation. So my twin flame is a celebrity musician, and I am not a well-known artist yet, but my twin flame and I have been spiritually connected for all of our lives. And as you know, twin flames have been connected since the beginning of time. And so we have been sent here to do this mission, which includes using music as a tool for helping other twin flames come into union, also raising the vibration of the planet with our songs and music. And soon, eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to do this together once we finally meet. But this awareness, this self-recognition came when I found his Instagram page and started to realize that he was my twin flame, and I didn't even know what a twin flame was when I first found his page. So this all came after the awakening for me, and I don't know how to explain it to you guys about celebrity twin flames very much. It's very new still, and to me it is still something that is mind-boggling, but there's no denying in my own mind that this is my true twin flame. And so the more I started to uncover a lot of things, such as the spiritual vibrations that I was getting from my twin, the soul recognition, the clairvoyance and clairaudience that I started to remember that I always had in me, started to be ignited within me. All my spiritual gifts started to be ignited in me and rekindled, I would say, because I already had them. I just forgot that I had them. And so my twin helped me to remember all of these things. And we knew each other on a spiritual level, and we began communicating on a spiritual level through our frequency. And so the frequency is what helped me to understand that I was connected to this person. And, I was basically shocked because of the fact that they were a celebrity at first. And I was a little bit taken aback by this. But the more I started to feel their connection with me, the more I knew it was real. So that was the first thing, was soul recognition. And that's what you will typically have when you first come into contact with your twin flame. You either see each other somewhere in a picture, maybe online, or you meet each other in person, or you might not meet, but you might just see them in person or bump into them somewhere and then have these feelings all of a sudden that you've known them for, ever. And, this is what's called soul recognition. And this is what I had when I first saw my twin flame on Instagram. Now, what happens after this is where it gets tricky, because as soon as I decided to follow this person on Instagram and started to want to know more about this person, because I was still new to social media. Also, that was another thing. I didn't have any other social media platforms that I was on. So, and this was very late, in my life that I began to be on social media. I was never a social media type of person. And so this has been about 4 years ago when I decided to finally get on Instagram. And that was in order for me to help grow my music career and to see if I could get more publicity and more popularity for my songs that I had already written on Instagram. And this is the only reason why I started Instagram. And after basically the first 2 weeks, Instagram has this way of showing you people that you might want to follow, and it ended up being my twin flame, my celebrity twin flame, and I ended up following him, and right away someone followed me back under his name, but under a different account, not his main account. And this happened really suddenly. And so I was taken aback by this because I didn't know, why this was happening. All this was happening really quickly. And so I was doubtful, of course, fearful that this was just a hoax or a gimmick, But I didn't, like I said, I didn't know about the whole Instagram setup either. So I didn't know if this was truly the person talking to me or texting me or following me, or if this was just a game. So I decided to just lay low for a while. And then I still ended up hesitating and not following this particular account back. But then soon after, another account followed me under this same person's name, under this same twin flame person's name. And so I did end up following this one back. And for some reason, I felt that it was something I should do at the time. So I followed this person, this page, and immediately got a what do you call DM, or it was actually, they DM'd me, and then I saw the message pop up on my feed, on my homepage. And then I was immediately scared about it, because I was like, wait a minute, how is this person contacting me? Why are they contacting me? This is a celebrity. Why would they be contacting me? And the page, I just started to look at more of the details of the page, and saw that this page was, very, relatively small. It was considered a private page. They called it a private page. And there were other people on there as far as people that person was following, mostly women, of course, and a certain type of women. So that was another red flag to me, that probably this was something, a game or something. And so I didn't want to really pursue it. And it took about a month before I answered this person back. And first they just said a quick hello, to me, and I didn't really think much of it. But then later on that second, well, actually, it was the first account that I had told you guys that I had been followed by. I saw a message, a DM in my inbox, and that message was from the person that was supposedly the celebrity twin flame. And they were asking me, saying hello and how are you, and I just wanted to reach out, on this different page because my other page is run by my management, and I wanted to see if be able to get to know a few of my fans. And so this page was designed for you to be able to contact me and for me to be able to speak to you. And so this was kind of strange, So I had two accounts that came after I followed this main account, which was from the celebrity. And both these things were giving me weird vibes. I will be honest. I was getting some really weird vibes from all of this. So, but at the same time, I was starting to learn more about the celebrity, and this person, music was just reaching out to me and calling me in, drawing me in, and making me want to know more about him. So I started listening to a lot of his music. I started to look up a lot of his interviews and things that I had, other performances that he had, and I started to see that this person was a very compassionate person, very different from all of the other celebrities and musicians. Very, very different. And so I wanted to know more about him. And also, like I said, I kept having these sensations, these vibrations and frequencies that would come to me. And it seemingly came from this person. And I started to see this person. I was, like I said, I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient. And I was seeing this person also coming to me at night. And I would have this really nice feeling come over me. And I would understand this as someone who was, just kind of like being in my presence, and just not really understanding the physical part of it, but knowing that it was a spiritual connection that we were having. And so I went with it, and I started to allow this transaction and spiritual transaction to take place between me and this person. And I became very romantically involved with this person very quickly. But first it was more just like a knowing and a familiarity. We weren't really doing much intimately at first, but it was just a warm, nice feeling that I was being comforted by this person, that he felt like home. He felt like someone familiar to me. And that's why I allowed the spiritual connection to take place first. And I'm glad I did, because it allowed me to recognize this person on a soul level as my twin flame. And this is why, the whole month period before ever contacting anyone back on this Instagram page, I was able to spiritually grow and to learn more about myself. Even though it was very early on, I started to realize that I'm a spiritual being, and I started to take the necessary steps towards my twin flame ascension. So, that was, I feel like, the biggest blessing in it all, because becoming aware of who I am as a twin flame and knowing that I had a twin flame out there was very hopeful for me. Even though I didn't know the label twin flame yet, I still didn't know that label yet. I felt something was familiar, something was home, felt like home about this person, something felt very good about this situation, and that's why I kept going with it. So as you'll know, when you become in contact with your twin flame, you're going to want to get to know more about them, but mostly you're going to want to learn more about yourself. And that's one thing that you should do, is to figure out who you are as a person before you really even try to approach your twin flame, because that's going to help you more than anything, is learning who you are intuitively, learning to connect with your higher power, your source, your spiritual essence, and who God is to you. You need to learn all those things before you start to delve into your journey more, because that's going to help you learn about yourself and to know how to handle your twin on a spiritual level. So I did get to a point where I started to want to know more and more about this person. Like I said, I was looking and researching more about this person, this celebrity, and I felt a calling, I felt a drive, an inward pull to this person. And so in order for me to find out more about this person, I thought, well, maybe I should attempt to talk to them if this is truly that person reaching out to me. And so this is where I feel like, things might have been a lot more tricky, because I decided one day, I actually broke down in tears because I listened to one of this celebrity's songs that was really popular, and just was a beautiful song. Just touched me to my core. And I remember hearing this song years ago and breaking down crying, because it felt such like I was connected to God in this song. And this person sung it so beautifully that it just made me feel like I was, back in that place again where I was listening to this song years ago, and had this breakdown, not even knowing that I'm listening to the voice of my own twin flame, and it's causing me to have all these overwhelming emotions for him, and to want to know him more and want to find him. And so this same song appeared on this other page, as him, the voice of him singing it, and it was just a picture of him looking, at what, obviously just his eyes were open, and he was looking at the camera at the time in the picture. But in the as I was looking at the picture, it was looking as though he was looking directly at me while this song was playing. It was just a recording of the song over a picture of him, and this really awakened me and triggered me into breaking down into tears, because I started to realize I know this person's familiar to me. And I gathered up the courage to text or DM this person back. And really all I did was give them a heart, a like on the DM that they already sent me about how they had started this page for their fans. And so, they wanted to be able to use this as an opportunity to get to know their fans, a few of their fans, and to be able to learn more about what direction he should take on his career and his music path. So I just basically liked that comment and that message. And immediately after I liked it, this big heart popped up, because he sent me an emoji right back with a big heart. And I was like, wow, he's actually on line at the same time, and was reading, or was waiting, or seemingly waiting for me to respond to this message. And so it ended up starting a dialogue, which helped me to learn a little bit more about him. I was very calm when I was texting this person through the DMs, and he was very interested in knowing more about me as well. And so we began a dialogue together. And the other page, something didn't seem right about it. I told you there were two pages. The first page was this official page. The second page was this private page. And so I ended up unfollowing the private page, because it's just something didn't seem right about it. And they weren't even responding to any of the likes that I had put on the page. So the only page that I responded to was this official page, and which is one that I feel like he might have actually been serious about trying to get to know his fans. And this is how we started a dialogue. So this dialogue went on for a couple of weeks. We got to know each other. He told me about himself, and he actually ended up taking me off of Instagram and onto a private app where we could speak more freely. And I hadn't really been familiar with this app either, but he ended up sending me text messages through this app, and we got to know each other a little more. And actually, after 10 days, he ended up telling me that he felt I would be someone that he would want to marry and have kids with. And I was like, whoa. And as I told you guys in my very first video, this was the initial shock that I had to this celebrity twin flame, which, I didn't say that in the first video that he was a celebrity, but he actually indeed was. And he was telling me that he felt I was his future wife and mother of his children. And so this really made me much more inquiring and wanting to know more about this person, and also gave me hope, gave me a joy, gave me just such a freedom. And I was with a karmic at the time, and I think I also mentioned to you guys in the past video that my karmic had told me that I was going to eventually end up with this person, this celebrity. And I was like, are you crazy? I didn't believe that at the time that he told me years ago. But here I am having a conversation with this celebrity and realizing that this is my twin flame. And again, I still didn't know the term twin flame, but here's this person telling me that he wants to be with me and that we have maybe work to do together. And that was another thing, twin flames have a mission together. And so all of these signs were coming through in the first few weeks of our interaction. And this is typically what happens in a twin flame journey. So I kept going with it. I kept having, again, these sensations of his presence around me, especially more so at night, and feeling his vibration, his warmth. We started to just really become intimate spiritually. And so we didn't really mention any of this on our texting back and forth, but I felt like I was having these kind of spiritual conversations with him. So that was the telepathy that became a part of the journey as well. And this is another thing that you will start to recognize, you having a telepathic interaction with your twin flame. And so these are all the signs of a twin flame journey. And this is why I tell you that this person is my twin flame. Around the same time, maybe a few weeks after, it was around Valentine's Day, we lost contact for about 3 days. And it was so devastating to me because this is Valentine's Day of 2019. And I had been so devastated by the fact that I felt he ghosted me. And I didn't know why. I didn't know what was going on. I was so heartbroken. It was the 3 worst days of my entire life because I was crying. I was not knowing what direction I should go in. I felt like I had been torn apart. And it was just the worst. But this was that, what they call that separation, or that feeling of separation, maybe the feeling that comes back when you feel like you have first split with your twin, when you guys were one soul and then you split into 2 bodies. It was that same feeling, that he had just abandoned me. And but 3 days later, this is, like I said, this was around Valentine's Day. I kept checking his social media. He wasn't really posting much, but he did, say Valentine's things to people on his page. And that kind of triggered me a little bit because I didn't know if he was spending time with someone else, or if he was, doing something and, having fun without me, or just, maybe this was all game, a hoax, like I said. But I reached out to him again on his Instagram page this time, and not on the app that we were talking through because he wasn't responding to me on the app. And I reached out on his Instagram page, the official one, that he said, that the secondary one, the one that he kind of made up for his fans. And I said, hey, please don't ghost me. If you want to, we should talk about this. And I miss you so much, and I hope you start talking to me again because I just feel lost without you. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said something to the fact that, if you don't want to speak to me, I understand. Thank you for what you've shared with me so far. And, after this message, I'll leave you alone. I won't text you back. Well, then that was when I decided to surrender and just let it go. All of a sudden, he texted me back and said, I lost my phone. Now, I was just overwhelmed with relief that he finally texted me back very shortly after I sent this last text message. And I just was like, oh my God, thank God, and I was like, I could kill you right now. I don't know what happened, but I feel like killing you and then bringing you back to life and hugging you. That's what I said. And it was so funny because I was laughing and, had tears coming out all at the same time because I was so happy to hear from him again. And that was an overwhelming joy just to hear from him again. And, I didn't care that he lost his phone. I just was happy to hear from him and happy to, know that he still was interested in me and talking to me. So, we went back onto the private app for a while, and we began talking again. and he told me a little bit more about himself. Now, mind you, these text messages were coming few and far between, because a lot of times he was telling me he was at the studio and that he was busy and that he didn't want me to be upset with him for the time that it was taking for him to respond back to me. And so I was understanding, and I didn't take too much time to figure it out, or to try to argue with him about it, why he hadn't been texting me back right away. And, we would go hours and sometimes a whole day without him texting me back. But, I was trying to learn to deal with that, and to know that he is a celebrity and that he probably is really busy. And so I was pretty much making up excuses for him. But at the same time, when he would text me back, I would feel relief, a sense of joy. And so I allowed it to keep going that way, because I was learning a little bit more about him. And like I said, spiritually, we were still learning about each other as well, too. So the spiritual connection is really what kept me going. It wasn't really the texting, because there was just not much he was giving me, but the spiritual connection was just so fascinating to me, and kept me learning more and more about it. And this is around the time that I started to see twin flame messages popping up on my Instagram feed. Now, this is where spirit really becomes a key factor here, because I didn't know about twin flames, and this is how I was introduced to the term twin flame and what it meant, and started to read more on twin flames. And I'll put links below to the Instagram pages that really helped me to understand myself as a twin flame in the description box below, so you'll be able to reference those as well, because they were really helpful and informative pages that kept me wanting to learn more about twin flame and this journey. And I really started to learn more about it. And as a divine feminine, I began to awaken to my truth, that I am a twin flame, that I have this mission that I'm here to accomplish, and with my twin flame, and we're going to be able to become in union and come into union eventually, and be able to do this mission together. So that was the hope for me, is that my twin flame had already told me all these things before I even learned that I was a twin flame, and had told me that they wanted to be with me and marry me, and that I started to learn that we were spiritually already married, and a lot of his songs were about this very thing, about our having already been together, him having had dreams about me, him having talked to me in spirit. And so now it all made sense. His music made sense. My music that I had made sense now, as to how I was able to tap into this spiritual energy and write songs about twin flames before I even knew what twin flames were. So this is where I tell you guys, my twin flame journey was starting to really take off. And unfortunately, though, in mid-March, early March actually, we ended up going into separation again, because for whatever reason, there was some things that are going on with him financially that he wasn't able to solve. And so I wasn't able to help him. I wasn't in a position to help him at the time, and I was still with my karmic, and I was really afraid that was going to lead to some really bad things if I ended up trying to help him out financially. So I refused to offer him help, and he ghosted me again. So it was really traumatic for me again, but not as traumatic as the first time, I would say. I just kind of felt like, okay, this is not the end, really. But at the same time, day after day went by with me not hearing from him, and I was getting a little depressed. And, I still kept going, though. I still kept researching what twin flames were, and kept really finding out more and more about my twin and his music, and kept following his page on Instagram, and even checking his Twitter pages out, even though I really didn't want to be on a Twitter, I have a Twitter account. I checked his tweets out, and just to keep up with him. And, he started to go on tour again at that point. And so I felt maybe he just doesn't need me to, be involved at this point yet. Maybe he's not ready for me to be involved with his life yet, because he had a lot of things going on with his tour and his wanting, to release another album. So I just felt maybe it wasn't the right time, and maybe I shouldn't be trying to get involved with him anyway because I was still with my karmic, which is a very good point. If you're with a karmic, you shouldn't really try to get involved with your twin flame because you need to separate from that karmic first and understand that this is no longer serving you, this karmic relationship. And this is exactly what I did. I ended up using my meditation practice and, learning how to meditate at this time, learning how to go inside and go within and be in my quiet space to learn to find answers as to how I could leave my karmic. And I ended up doing that in the month of May. So very soon after, actually, I wasn't able to leave just yet. It took me quite a while. It took me a year and 3 months to leave my karmic, even after I knew who my twin was and after we separated for the second time. So, there was a lot of things involved with my karmic that I had to sort through and get, details, fixed as far as separating finances and separating, living quarters and all this kind of stuff. So I had to really take my time and learning more about myself and getting out of this karmic situation. And I tried to do it more than once and it didn't work, but, because my karmic kept begging me to come back and I would go back to them. But finally, I ended up making the split in 2020, right during the pandemic, right in the month of May. And so this was a big deal for me. This is a big step. But the whole time, throughout the year that I had been in separation from my twin, I had still been communicating with him spiritually. And that was amazing to me because I could still feel him. I could still hear him talking to me. It was a very bizarre experience because I was finding ways to connect with him. And it's very hard to explain. Still finding ways to connect with him, and I was feeling him. I was feeling his reactions to the things that I was sharing with him. So each person is going to have a different way of handling separation and handling the communication that you may still have spiritually with your twin. But once you find a way to do that and you can continue to do that, then you'll be, feel much better during your separation because you'll be able to understand that you're not really separate from your twin. You are still with your twin in spirit, even though you guys are not physically together. And this is one thing that I started to learn. I started to realize this through also the Instagram pages and posts that I was reading about. And it was really helping me a lot. So I eventually left my karmic, and the way I had to do it was I had to leave and go to another city temporarily, which is the city that my twin flame resides in. And so I went there, just kind of like, decided, hey, I'm going to do it. I had my financial freedom finally, and I said, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go to the city my twin flame resides in, even though I don't have no address. Like I told you guys in the last video, I had no address, no nothing. But I went there and decided that, hopefully if it is the will of the universe that I will bump into him or be able to come into contact with him there, then that will happen. And, I went anyway, and I started to really enjoy the city. I was in New York City. I'm from LA, so I live in LA, and I went to New York City on my own during the middle of the pandemic. And it was a perfect time because there was not a lot of people outside. And I was able to go, and basically plane tickets were cheap, hotels were cheap, and I was able to go there and afford to be able to be there for a couple months. And I was even wanting to move there because I knew this is where my twin resides. But I wasn't able to afford to live there. It was just too expensive for me. And, I had already had a place in LA established where I could go when I came back from New York, that I could be separate from my karmic. And so I decided to continue to rent my apartment while I was still in New York. And that was in my apartment in LA, to keep my apartment in LA. And so, but while I was in New York, I learned so much more about myself. I was able to really cut ties with my karmic and pray for my karmic and hope that he will, be able to move on from me and me from him in an amicable way, and we were able to do that. I had baby texted him one last time while I was in New York, and then basically that was it. That was the end, and I was able to let him know that I was ready to move on, and that I didn't need anything that he still had there with him. I basically had already prepared myself by taking everything that I needed out of that I wanted to keep out of his place and put it into mine. So there was no real reason for me to go back there. And so that ended, and then I was also able to, like I said, keep up with my twin on his posts, and he even made reference to the fact that he knew I was coming to New York in one of his posts. So it was not that he said, "Oh, this person's coming," or anything about me, but it was like a coming soon type thing, and it was just different the way he was able to make it, so that it related. I could tell that it was relating to me. So, and a lot of times I will have messages from him in his posts, little emojis that will come through, or messages, subtle hidden messages that only he and I will understand, And, most people will probably say, "Girl, you just making that more than what it is." And, they might say that, but I knew in my heart that this is really what's going on here with my twin, because I still felt him every day, and I still realized that he was with me, even though we hadn't really met physically. And so my hope was to meet him in New York. I did not end up meeting him in New York, but something else strange happened. While I was there, I was able to really come into contact with who I am as a person, spiritual being. I was able to find more information on twin flames through YouTube, and this is where I started to read or to listen to tarot readings on the YouTube channels that I would find, that I have mentioned in previous videos in the description box. So this was really helping me to understand about my twin flame journey also. I was connecting with myself. I was going out walking every day, learning more about the city. Like I said, I wasn't really interfered with because there was not many people on the streets because of the pandemic, but it was allowing me to be able to really enjoy the city and do things that I always wanted to do, go places where I always wanted to go. And I just walked everywhere, had a great time, even lost some weight because I was walking a lot and getting around that way. And it was just a good experience for me to be able to do something independently like that, and to enjoy it, So I also came into contact with my spirit babies while I was there, because I was in such close proximity with my twin and feeling him so much every night, that we were able to, get into contact with our spirit babies. And, I'm sure he knows who they are as well, but to me, it was a new experience because I had never experienced that before. And it was just the cutest thing, to have these little spirit babies around, helping me, kind of like just there, and just their presence. I felt their presence, and it's amazing. And I still feel their presence even to this day. And it's a beautiful thing, and they have really helped me a lot on my journey. And in the last video, I also talked to you guys about spirit baby readings that I have been able to find on YouTube as well, that I hope you can research and go and see in the description boxes that I left in the last video. So these were blessings to me, because I had been through a lot in my past with my karmics. I have had 2 karmic relationships in the past, and I've been through a lot, and so I was really going through a lot with re-understanding who I am as a woman, getting more acquainted and familiar with my own body, and learning that, there were things that happened with me in the past that I had to forgive myself for and to really cleanse myself for. And I was actually doing a real good cleanse at the time that I was in New York too. That was another thing that I was able to do spiritually, was some fasting and cleansing. I was taking black seed oil, and that was really helping to clear me out. I was doing like a detox tea and doing lots of different things that were helping my body. Um, and at the end of that, I felt a lot more clean on the inside, just purging so much, from within, spiritually as well as physically, getting rid of a lot of toxins from my body while I was there, and that was very helpful for me. So that kind of was all the good things that came about. But then there was one incident where I ended up just getting so frustrated because I wasn't hearing from my twin. Um, in the physical, I didn't know really how we were supposed to hear from each other, but I was hopeful that he was going to contact me eventually. And so, it was around, I guess I was watching the BET Awards and I had gotten dressed up, and I actually even wore this top, which I found in New York, and got all dressed up and just sat in my hotel room after having been out shopping and doing other things for the day, and got ready to watch this award show. And was just excited because, I felt like I was a part of it. Even though it was all virtual, and it was the first time they had a virtual award show, but it was good for me to watch because I just started to feel so surreal, so much like a celebrity myself, because if you are in a twin flame celebrity relationship, you're going to find that even though you may not be well known and your celebrity twin flame is, you guys are both celebrities, okay? You're both known on a spiritual higher level, and you, as if you're the divine feminine or the divine masculine, whichever one you are, and you're not the well-known twin, you are well known in the spiritual world, okay? You are the more spiritually awakened twin in a lot of cases. And so you will start to see that your gifts will be more enhanced once you come into contact with your twin, and you're going to realize that you are very high on the spiritual plane. Okay, so never think down on yourself. Never think to compare yourself to your twin as being less than them, or that you are not worthy of them, because you are. And this is the reason why your twin flame has incarnated in this, way, because, you guys both came to Earth as, like I said, two humans, but you have the same soul. And this is in your contract for your twin to become a celebrity, and for you to eventually meet up with them, because they're using the celebrity platform as a way to find you. Okay, so these are all things that I've started to learn about celebrity twin flames, and maybe I'll do a video on that later on, because I have watched other videos on celebrity twin flames that have really helped me out, because I didn't know if this was possible or if other people are experiencing it, and truly they are. So indeed they are, and some people have made videos on this subject. So maybe I will do the same. And if you would like to hear me do a video on that subject, and if you are in a celebrity twin flame relationship, please make it known in the comments below, and I will definitely comment and reply back to you. And also, if you would like for me to have more videos like this, I will also try to make more videos if you guys let me know in the comments section. Okay, so I just want us all to be able to grow together and to love each other, and to understand that these things are okay. These are always things that are meant to break the matrix, to break the cycle that we are in this matrix, and to understand that, we're here for a mission to break down all these stereotypes about, one person being this and that, or, same-sex twins. You can have same-sex twin flame relationships. You can have, people who are, from different countries, or that are speaking different languages that are twin flames, and they have to break that language barrier. You can have people from different social backgrounds. If maybe you were in, a situation where your twin flame has a lot of money and you didn't. There's a lot of different twin flames. Maybe you're separated because of age. You may be the older twin and your twin flame is younger than you, and you're a woman. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. All these things are stereotypes and things that we need to break down, barriers for, okay? So we are here to break those barriers down and to realize that our twin is basically, we are our twin. We are the same person, okay? You are your twin. When you look in the mirror, you're going to see, and you look at your eyes in the mirror, you're going to be seeing your twin, okay? Your twin is a reflection of you. So don't ever feel that when you're looking at a celebrity that if this is your true twin flame now, make sure you know that this is your true twin flame before you jump to conclusions. But if you know for a fact that they're your true twin flame and they have caused your spiritual awakening, and you are able to communicate with them at any point, spiritually or physically, and this person leads you to grow to a more higher self-awareness, to lead you to ascend into your truth, then you know that you are in a twin flame celebrity relationship, okay? And you should consider yourself blessed, because you're going to have the chance to meet that person on their level at some point, and you shouldn't feel that they are anything more than you or above you, or there should not be any type of ego involved with this, because you guys both know each other on a deeper level. That twin flame might appear on the outside as though they're happy, and they might have relationships with other people, but deep down inside they are hurting because they're not with you. You are their twin flame. And that's one thing that I know my twin flame has shared with me in spirit, is that he has been trying to find me all along, but he wasn't able to find me, and it moves, maybe, after I finish telling you more about the story and what has transpired, because now I know that I have had a false twin flame experience. Maybe we haven't ever even met, but my true twin flame. But I know that this person is my true twin flame based on my spiritual awakening and my soul recognition of him. Okay, so that's the reason why you're going to know this is your twin flame, because of soul recognition. I cannot stress that enough. You're not going to know because of somebody, trying to convince you otherwise, or that you heard it in a tarot reading, or that maybe it's only going to come to you based on your soul recognition. And music can help you in soul recognition too, because like I said, I've been listening to meditation music that has helped me to merge my soul with my twin. And I will put links in the description box below for that too. You can actually meditate and draw your twin into you, so that you can be aware of their spirit with you. And that's how you're going to know that is your twin, is because your spiritual presence with them. So moving on back to the story where I'm in New York, and I am there, and it's right after the BET Awards. I had looked on Instagram and checked my DMs, and lo and behold, there is a message in my inbox that I hadn't seen yet, and it had been from the previous day. And this person is considering himself my twin flame, and is approaching me as my twin flame, celebrity twin flame, and asking me, hey, how are you, cutie, and all this kind of stuff. Now, this was kind of a red flag, because first of all, if this was the same person, they should know where we left off, okay? Now, I shouldn't have to say, start all over and explain my story, or tell this person, hey, don't you remember me, but I did that, and this was a red flag, because this person had come to me as the celebrity that I feel is my twin flame, and started an interaction with me. And because I was so desperate, because I was so yearning for my twin flame to contact me while I was in New York, I fell victim to this situation and began to interact with this fake or false twin flame. Now, I really didn't accept that this was a false twin flame at first, because like I said, I was so desperate to hear from my twin flame that I started to ask them. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I didn't want to push them away again. So I was very eager to continue communicating with this person. And again, they drew me off of the Instagram app onto the private page, or the private app, the same app that I had been on before, used the same kind of secret code word that they wanted me to use to get onto the app to be able to communicate with them further. And so these were red flags, okay? And I, like I said, was just so overwhelmed with emotion, wanting this to be my twin flame, that I kept going with it. And, we ended up having more dialogue, having more text messaging on this app. And, there was a lot of things, a lot of red flags, but I kept going with it. And they were also, like, again, not texting me, few and far between, not really getting back to me right away, leaving me on read, and I was just so desperate, and so I kept letting this go on. And while I was in New York, I stayed there because I was convinced that I was going to eventually meet this person physically. And they were telling me that they were going to meet me too, because they started to feed into this whole interplay with me on this app about them being my twin flame, being, someone that I was considering my best friend. And I told them, hey, how have you been? And they started picking up things where I left off in the last prior communication, and basically going along with what I said. So they were mimicking everything I was saying. And as I began to realize that, or begin to believe that this was indeed the person that I was considering my twin flame, I started to share more with them about my personal life, and telling them that I was there to, to try to come and meet them, and hoping to want to meet them, asking them to meet me in certain places, and then they would never show up, because I said, well, if you don't want to give me, your address, you can always meet me somewhere. And I would give them a place and a time that I would be at this place and location in New York, and say, please come see me, and they wouldn't respond really. So I would still go and hope for them to show up, and they never would. But I still didn't allow that to keep me from having a good time in New York by myself. I just let it be what it was. I felt I didn't want to push them away, so I didn't try to pressure them too much. But then they started to ask for these Steam cards. And that was really throwing me off. It was really triggering me because they were starting to ask me to send them Steam cards. They wanted me to go to a Walmart or a CVS and buy Steam cards for them and send them Steam cards so that they could have them. And I was wondering, I'm like, what is the Steam card? I didn't even know what a Steam card was. And so I asked about this, and he said, oh, well, this is, and another thing he would always say was, when I was asking, well, where have you been? Why haven't you texted me back? Why is it taking you so long to reply to me? And they would always say, oh, I was in the studio, my manager and I have been in the studio working together, and so I would be like, okay, so this is the same thing that I was being told before. And I would try to say, okay, well, I won't think much of it, but, let them be themselves and try to understand and, move on from that and not be angry, because I was getting really frustrated. So I allowed that to be the excuses that they would give me. But then when they started asking for Steam cards, I said, well, what do you need the Steam cards for? And he's like, well, I need them to, for my studio. And, it helps me with my computer. I need to be able to use these to purchase more equipment for my studio. And so me not knowing what a Steam card was, not knowing what it was used for, was just kind of like, I don't know about this, but I broke down and went ahead and got them Steam cards. It was a small amount at first, and then he asked me for more, and he kept asking me for more, okay? And, I'd get really frustrated, and they would tell me, no, you're helping me so much. He would be so thankful and grateful. And then he would end up talking to me and texting me more after I would give him these cards. He would come back, of course, to try to get more. And he would text me until I would succumb to buying him more Steam cards. So this went on for a while, and a couple times, actually 2 or 3 times. And then I just started to get tired of it, and I started saying to myself, well, this is not going anywhere. And obviously, after I give them the Steam cards, they are just leaving me on read and going and doing their thing, probably playing video games with these Steam cards. And more than likely, I was right. So they were spending a lot of time online and not talking to me. But I was still paying attention to my True Twin Flames posts on Instagram and Twitter, and there weren't very many coming, but they just seemed like two different worlds. Okay, two completely different worlds, and I didn't know what to make of it. But something seemed strange. But I said, well, you know what? Maybe he's just keeping his online presence different from his personal presence with me, and maybe these are helping him. These Steam cards are helping him to relax if he's using them to play games or whatnot. So I felt maybe I was helping him, and I started making excuses. And then I eventually ended up getting tired, though, because I was running out of money anyway, and I was needing to go back to LA because I didn't have enough money to stay in New York, and I didn't even have enough money to try to get an apartment there, which I wanted to do, but it wasn't working out. So it wasn't the right time, and I'm glad it wasn't, because I would have totally been doing all of that for nothing. So I decided to come back to LA, and I ended up really just praying about it, meditating on it. I was still doing all this meditation and praying while I was talking to this person online or on this app. And I was still growing spiritually, and that was one thing that I have to really say kept me going, because I was still spiritually growing even though I was talking to this other person. But I was still trying to make it fit into this twin flame scenario. So I was trying to make this person fit as my twin flame, and it just wasn't working out. So I decided I'm going to go back to LA. And lo and behold, once I decided to go back to LA, they texted me and started all this dialogue. Started all this dialogue about how they're unsettled that I'm leaving and going back to LA, and how they wish that they could have been able to see me. But they know I needed to get back, and he said that he wanted to continue to communicate with me when I get back to LA. Please, don't stop communicating with me. And I said, okay, I'll still communicate with you. And he said that, and I didn't tell him when my plane left or was going to leave, but somehow he knew that I was about to leave. And so he said, well, you need to get going. I was like, well, how do you know? How do you know? I didn't tell you when my plane leaves. And he said, I know. And so I was just kind of taken aback by that, because I thought, well, this is strange. I really haven't told them I'm about to leave and get on the plane, but they knew, in a few hours that I had to catch that plane. So I ended up saying, okay, he said, please text me as soon as you're at the airport, send me a picture, let me know you're okay. And all of a sudden he was just so overwhelmingly caring and concerned that I continued the dialogue, and texted him when I got to the airport. I had a really long overlay in Denver, so I had like an 8-hour overlay, and it was actually a time for me to just be able to do more spiritual work. But we ended up texting the whole time, and that kind of helped me to pass the time away. And he was very interested in learning more about me, and so I started to say, do you remember these things that we did in the past on our dialogue that we used to have? And he started saying, oh yeah, I remember that, And I was like, well, how come you never brought it up before? And he's like, well, I speak to you in spirit, And he started saying all these things that just kind of was like, really, how do you know who I am? And you barely talk to me. And but yet he still continued to give me hints that he knew me spiritually. And that's what kept me going, because I was so eager to know my twin flame more on a physical level, that I was craving any information he would give me spiritually through the physical and through these text messages. So that's what kept me hooked, was that wanting to know more and wanting to have more dialogue with him. And so I kept doing that. And so when I got back to LA finally, We kept communicating, and every single day he would talk to me. And I still ended up being able to come back, and thank God I had my car in storage, and I was able to get my car back from storage, and start going places and doing things on my own, just making a life for myself, a brand new life in LA for myself. And it was just a new time for me, like a new beginning for me personally. Now I will tell you that it's something personal. I had a really physically things changing in me. So I had this physical phenomenon that happened with me as well that was very painful. And I won't go into too much detail about that, but it happened right after I got back from New York, and I felt it was kind of like a sign of a spiritual cycle ending, okay, and a new thing beginning for me personally. So I was beginning a new spiritual journey or new cycle, and but it had to involve a lot of physical pain that I was going through, and I was still going through my Kundalini awakening as well. And while I was meditating, I was feeling those heat sensations in my body. And this is another thing that my true twin had told me spiritually in the past when I was going through these symptoms, Kundalini awakening symptoms, back in 2019. I was having a lot of them. And he was telling me that this is a Kundalini awakening. He would whisper this to me. And so I was beginning to be aware of that, and learning more about what that was on Instagram as well, and researching it and Googling it and what it meant, and realizing that these things were going to be occurring as I ascended, and I became more ascended into my divine femininity. Okay, so all of this was going on. I was still having my meditation practice going on, and this false twin continued to tell me that they were spiritually connected to me, and I still continued to feel my true twin flame on a spiritual level. So, and every time I dreamed about my twin flame, it was the person, it was the celebrity twin flame. Every time I would have dreams about them, it was him, not this false person. But yet I felt like I wanted so much for this false person to be my twin that I made him fit. And so throughout this time that I was talking to this false twin flame, I allowed him to enter, in a spiritual level with me. And this is where it started to go really downhill fast, because I was allowing him to interfere spiritually with my connection. Okay, and this is one thing you need to be aware of when you're in a twin flame relationship and you feel you know who your twin is, but you encounter a false twin flame. If you allow them to spiritually interfere with your twin flame connection, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly, it will definitely set you back. So please be aware that these false twin flames are energy vampires. They will do everything to keep you at bay, to keep you coming back. This person was luring me in with more spiritual talk, more things that they knew I was interested in. They started to research these things that I was interested in, and have me send them things and links and to YouTube videos, and they wanted to know more about the twin flame journey after I started to tell them that we are twin flames. And so this was luring them in as spiritually to my journey, and they were also luring me in energetically, because they were actually benefiting off of my energy. They were growing off of my energy, and benefiting financially from me as well, because I was continuing to send them money. Okay, so it became really aware quickly to me that I was being sucked dry of everything, but I still allowed it to continue, because they told me we were husband and wife on a spiritual level. They studied everything, okay? They studied everything about the twin flame journey to learn how to control me. And he even said, tell me more about this twin flame thing so I can know how to control you. And I should have had a real red flag awakening moment right then and there, aha moment. And I did kind of say, what do you mean, to control me, in my text messaging to him. But he quickly corrected himself and said, no, I mean, so I can know who you are and who we are as twin flames and our mission together. I want to know more about this mission. And so I was basically feeding him everything he needed to know to turn it back around on me and to make me lured and to make basically get his hooks into me so that he could keep having me send him money. Okay, it went from Steam cards to actual money, and he had me turning it into Bitcoin and transferring it to him. Okay, so you guys, please be aware that these romance scammers are out there. They are taking advantage of women or people who are desperate because maybe they want to know who their twin flame is, or maybe you just are in a situation where you are wanting a mate, a soulmate, and you're looking online, you're on these dating apps or whatnot, and they're disguising themselves as people to help lure you in. Okay, so please be careful, and once you realize that you are with someone who's doing this to you, please stop all communication with them. So it took me 2 years, okay, to figure out that this was a false twin. And this is the discouraging part about it, because I wasted so much money, you guys. I wasted so much money. I put myself into debt. I did a lot of things that that I'm not proud of, because I was allowing this person to be in my personal life. And so you guys just realize this, that this is very easy for anyone to fall into this trap, not just twin flames, but anyone who is on the social media platform, any type of dating app, or who is desperate for attention and companionship. They can lure you in and start telling you all these things you want to know and want to hear, just so they can exploit you. So just be aware of this. But at the same time, I kept continuing to watch YouTube videos on the twin flame journey, and they helped me in that they helped me realize that I'm protected by angels, and I am. I'm still protected by all my angels, and they were still there with me, guiding me. I still had communication with my true twin flame spiritually on a higher level. We were still being intimate on a spiritual level. Now, this is where it also gets confusing, because when I was having intimacy with my twin flame, my true twin flame, sometimes I would get a text message from this fake person at the same time, and then I would say, wait, why are they texting me if I'm supposed to be having intimacy with them at this point, on a spiritual level? And so I had to realize that, okay, that was another red flag that I didn't want to pay attention to, but then afterwards I would ask them about it. I said, did you feel what I was feeling? And they were like, to this fake person, they're like, oh yeah, I felt that. I'm like, oh yeah, it was good. And I'm like, oh. So this person was really feeding into everything. They were telling me that, oh yeah, I'm the one who's doing this to you spiritually and making you feel this way spiritually. And it was just leading me on a wild goose chase in the end. Okay. And so, after having lost lots of money and having, done a lot of things that I shouldn't have done, recently I was able to understand this about my twin, that this is a false twin, because they actually came out and told me the truth. And I had been praying, all throughout this month of May. And I want to just zoom forward into the part where I learned that this was my false twin, because there were so many signs and red flags that this was not my twin, but I did not listen to my intuition. And so I allowed myself to keep getting steered down the wrong path. But there was a lot of spiritual growth that still took place. I saw my family growing as a result. I was able to connect deeper with my family, reconnect with my family actually, and when I got back to California. And we were able to have a great connection, and that grew over this time period. We had great connections that we were able to get back into reestablished with one another. And so that came as a result of a positive change. All these positive changes came out during the time that I was still speaking to this false twin, but I never let anyone know about this false twin. So that was the good part, that I didn't tell anyone about him. And so last month of May, I was having such energy depletion and feeling drained and just tired. I lost all my money. I was in debt. I was, having problems with paying my rent. And so this person even made a fake email in my name and had me sending all kinds of information to them that I shouldn't have been, just really, really messing up my credit. Everything was just going wrong. Okay. And I was just like, this cannot be a true twin flame relationship. What is going on here? The signs were there, but I wasn't paying attention to them. I kept allowing myself to get lured in because I kept associating the synchronicities and the physical vibrations that I was having and the intimacy that I was having with this fake person. So I allowed myself to basically take a step back. I kept saying to this person, I'm going to stop. I'm going to end this connection, And they kept telling me, no, don't do it. They kept threatening me not to do it. And, basically they were, telling me, no, that we're still husband and wife spiritually. And again, going on into this twin flame, dialogue about what I am to them and how we have a mission together. But, I was not convinced. I was still, saying that there was something fishy about this whole thing. I'm not supposed to be losing all of my entire savings and losing all of my, dignity and self-worth because of a person that wants to feed off of my energy, even though there were progressions being made. And so I said, I'm just gonna stop talking to this person and see what happens. Well, they sensed that I was pulling away, and they ended up starting to talk to me more, and told me that basically they were from Nigeria, and all the conversations that we had phone conversations, and he had always told me that he was using a voice changer, but he had a Nigerian accent. And now I understand that he was really a Nigerian and that he was basically using me for money. And he told me that he had done a lot of things with the money, but that they were positive things in the end. He told me that I had helped him so much, that I had helped him get off drugs during this time period that we had been together, that I had helped him to learn more about his spirituality, and that I had basically helped him to understand more about himself and he had grown, which all was fine and dandy, but hey, I lost in the end. And I just listened to him. I let him tell me his truth. This was on June 1st. And I asked him, I said, well, what made you tell me this all of a sudden? And he said, oh, I don't know, I just felt like telling you. And I was like, okay. He's like, are you mad at me? I'm like, no. And I really wasn't mad. I was relieved more than anything to have the answers and to know, hey, this was over now. I just didn't tell him that. Okay, I didn't tell him that this was going to be the last time I ever talked to you. Because I was like, okay, let him have his, word and tell me everything he needs to tell me. And he said, I'm going to start talking to you all the time now. I'm going to be more, with you, everything. I want you to, he actually told me that he had a record label in Nigeria and that he was going to have me be his partner on this record label, and that I was going to sing and do things on his record label, that he was going to publish and all my music, and that I was going to come to Africa and spend time with him there, and that eventually we would come back to the United States. He would meet my family. He was telling me all what I was going to do. Like, he had just laid out my whole life for me. Okay, so he had just, in his head, drawn up all these things that were going to happen in our future, and that I needed to get a passport and get ready to come to Africa and all this kind of stuff. And I was just listening to him, and I was like, okay, and then he ended up asking me to marry him. Okay, he said, so will you marry me? And I paused, I said, I will marry my twin flame. So I said, I will marry my twin flame. And I said, are you my real twin flame? And he just kind of was taken aback by my answer. And he's like, And so he didn't even really come out and say, yeah. But he knows the truth that he's not. And so, but I think he was, at this point, so love-struck that he didn't really want to accept that himself, that he wasn't my true twin flame. I think he really bought into it himself. And so he was really really changed by this whole experience also. And that's what I came to learn, because as soon as that conversation ended and he told me, okay, well, after I told him I was really tired and I wanted to go to sleep, and he said, okay, after you sleep, text me back and, we'll continue to talk and we'll just talk about our future together. I'm like, okay, little did he know that was be the last time I'm gonna talk to him. Okay, so I ended it, and I didn't contact him back, and I just was relieved to know the truth finally. And um, so sorry this is so long, guys, but I'm about to end this video because I know it's gotten into over an hour long, and I didn't really want it to be this long. But so he ended up telling me that the truth, and I just soaked it all in. I just soaked it all in, and I laid there in my bed and just was so thankful to have the truth, and actually felt a little bit of excitement right after that, because I had heard of this false twin flame experience, and that most people in twin flame relationships go through this, and that this also is a way for them to come into contact with their true twin flame. And that it would happen really soon after this false twin flame experience. So I was kind of excited to know, hey, now I'm going to meet my true twin flame. So little did he know, the fake twin know, that he gave me a hope now that I'm going to be able to meet my true twin flame after having told me the truth. And so I never talked to him again. It's been over a week now, or about a week now, and I feel much better. Right after, I did go through some depression and sadness, and it is a loss. It is a loss, even when you've been dealing with a false twin flame, to know that you've been manipulated and controlled and prevented from, moving forward on your journey with your true twin flame. But they were still in your life for a reason. They were still in your life for you to go through some healing, and to learn more about yourself, and to learn what more you need to heal before you are actually with your true twin flame. And this is one thing that I realized, that, I wasn't really quite ready to be with my twin flame yet, because obviously I allowed this to happen. Some things that I was able to realize also about my true twin flame is that in his post, the very same day that my false twin flame revealed that he was my false twin flame, my true twin flame made a post that something had happened to him also, and that he felt really good about it, and that he wanted to write it down. And so the same day we went through something, and this was another sign for me that, I had been dealing with a false twin flame all along, because my true twin flame was going through some spiritual things on his own, and he's coming to recognition of things as I believe he's awakening himself now, and possibly even ready to find me in a spiritual way, in a physical way, I'm sorry. And so that he now knows that maybe we are destined to be together, and he can find me. I don't know how that's going to happen at this point, but I do believe the universe will make this happen for us. And so after he put that post up, I ended up thinking about it, and I said, well, that's a good idea for me to start writing down a lot of these things that I want my true twin to know. And that way, I don't get sidetracked again like I did with this false twin flame. So I decided to start a journal for just my twin flame, my true twin flame, where I write him daily messages and notes and love letters. And then I also have a journal for my angels, so that I can talk to them on a daily basis too, and to let them know what I would like for them to help me with each day. And so I'm logging things every day in these journals. And I also have other journals, like a gratitude journal and a music journal, which I keep all my lyrics and things in. But these are good tools to help you with your journey, is to journal everything, and to have a dream journal. That's another dream journal is what I have too. And I've been journaling my dreams. So I just hope and pray for everybody out there that has been through a false twin flame situation, that you find the help you need, and that you go inside and really learn who your true twin flame is. Because if someone is impersonating your true twin flame, that's a very tricky situation. It can lead you down a wild goose chase, which I did for 2 years now. And it's been real tough, but I'm going to overcome this, and I'm going to meet my true twin flame soon. And I know this because my true twin flame has told me this in spirit, as well as Source, or Father Mama. As I told you guys, I call my creator Father Mama, is going to lead me to my true twin flame. And I believe that with all my heart. And this true twin flame is the celebrity that I have held dear in my heart for the last 4 years. So hope is not lost at all. Hope is actually rekindled in me. Hope is actually the main reason why I keep going now. And I'm making this video so that I can share with you guys and give you guys hope that even though you might have been in a false twin flame relationship, this is the beginning of your new journey to come into union with your true twin flame. Okay, so just realize that this is the beginning of your true relationship with your true twin flame. Even if you haven't met them yet, even if you haven't made a physical contact with them yet, they're out there. And that's how you know, is because you're feeling them every day. You're feeling their vibration. None of that has changed. None of that ever changed with me throughout this whole journey. The physical vibrations and the frequency was still the same between me and my twin. We just had a third party interfere with that and kind of even get looped in a way, because he was actually feeding off of a lot of the vibrations that I was giving him, or giving really to my true twin flame. Because in my mind and in my dreams, like I said, all I ever was seeing was my true twin flame, his image, but this false twin flame was feeding off of that. And so you can really be thrown off by that false twin flame, because they will try to convince you that they are your true twin flame, but the whole time they're not. So this is my experience. I will say that I have been blessed, and this has been a blessing in disguise for me. I don't wish any ill will on my false twin flame at all, because I know that they have helped me on this journey to get to a higher level of learning and learning of who I am, and ascension and awareness of who I am. They've helped me to grow through my Kundalini awakening. They've actually been there to kind of be company with me, I would say, in a sense, whereas I've had company in allowing this person to exist with me, but even though it was unhealthy, it served a purpose. I had to learn lessons from this. I had to learn how to say no. I had to learn how to cut off bad ties and connections with people, and to learn to take care of myself, and to take care of myself better physically, as well as mentally and spiritually and emotionally. So all of these are little love notes from your angels and guides. Okay, your spirit guides are showing you the right way to go. And once you do accept that you don't want to be in this false twin flame relationship anymore, they help you get out. And that's exactly what happened with my situation. They helped me to get out of it. And after the false twin flame told me the truth, I was not interrupted or disturbed by them on the app anymore, because I normally would not have the willpower to not answer his text messages or phone calls. But this particular time, my angels asked me, and they're like, are you ready to let go of this false twin flame relationship? And I said, yes, I'm ready to let go and end this. I want it to end. And so I didn't get disturbed by his messages or phone calls anymore. Even though he was constantly, now he is being tormented, because he is constantly trying to make up more new false fake pages to try to get me to talk to him again. He tried to say that he lied and said that this was, he was not really Nigerian. He tried to go back on his word and all that, but, I didn't go by any of that. I didn't buy any of it. So, I've already been told the truth. And once I've been told that, I don't need to hear anything else. I just can end it and go on and move on and go on into my true twin flame, about my true twin flame journey. So, I ended up deleting that app today. Finally got the strength to do that. And everything is good. Everything is much better than it was. The only thing I don't know is how I'm going to meet my true twin, but it's okay, I'm learning who I am, and that's the main thing. I'm becoming my best version of myself. I'm being able to identify more signs and synchronicities in my journey now, and able to heal and move on and forgive myself and forgive my false twin flame, and to even forgive my true twin flame because of the time it's taking, because whatever they're doing, they're awakening in their own time, and that I have to allow them to do that. So I just want to say peace and blessings to all of you out there. I love you. Like I said, this was kind of a tough thing for me to get on here and admit all of this to you guys and make this video because I've been going through a lot, this last week, like I said, ups and downs and having moments of depression about it. But all in all, I feel much better today, more strong. I've had time to rest and recuperate and to really reflect on what has been going on with me. And so I feel like I can go forward with my journey. A lot of people might be hindered by this experience, and if they have a false twin flame experience, they might want to give up at this point. But I want to encourage you not to give up, because you're just now getting to the part where you're going to meet your true twin flame for real. Okay, now you're going to actually meet them. You've been prepared for your true twin flame by all the experiences that you've gone through, and this is what I believe in my heart wholeheartedly. So I'm going to go ahead and end it out now and say thank you so much for listening and watching. I hope you were able to learn something from this video, and I'm going to resume with my twin flame musical therapy videos in the next one, and finish speaking on the second video of the song that I wrote called Waiting for Love, because now I am still waiting for love. And this was kind of like, a perfect little ending to this whole story, is that, that song still pertains and still relates to me and my situation. And it's a beautiful thing, because you have to give your twin time to catch up with you if you've awakened, and, that's okay. They're going to catch up. Don't worry about it. They're going to come into union with you on their own time, okay? Right now, I'm going to continue to focus on myself and loving myself and working on healing. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.